Right.
The way you talk about suicide, it's like a taboo.
Right, yeah. Because it is like, well, even okay, yeah. Well, even in the flashback with Aoi, when when her flashback is shown, it's of course with that bullying. At first, she's like on the roof, and then she gets dumped with water. And so of course, well, that's pretty bad. So then the next scene in particular with that is that she's on the edge of the roof, and
About to, like, do her
right,
business.
right, and then apparently the people who threw the water on her is like about to go back in, but one of them turns around and is like, "Whoa, what the heck?" Like runs up to her and like pulls her off, and it's like, well, okay, right, of course. Sure, that would happen. Like maybe your bull, your
But the thing is that the
yeah,
victims were the bullies.
yes, yeah, okay, yeah.
Like the professor were
So
like, what were you thinking? Like, you could have traumatized your bullies, like, by killing
well,
yourself, because she was the one to blame. Like, oh, what?
well, yeah,
You're trying to take the easy way out, aren't you? And it's like,
well, yeah, she was.
dude,
So
what
she
the heck
was
is wrong with you?
right. Wasn't that messed up? Yeah, that was pretty messed up. So yeah, that was kind of the undercurrent. I guess I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
When she was in the infirmary lying on the bed, the teacher or the adult figure off screen was like, yeah, like she finally came back to school and maybe something's wrong with her. And it's like, whoa, what the heck?
Yeah. It's like,
And
of
so
course, because something is like, something is wrong with her.
Right,
But,
right.
like,
But it's,
I don't think that's the root of the problem.
Right. And so I think that is showing some of those taboos that are coming into play maybe with suicide and how we talk about it, uh, and like, yeah, and who's like to blame. But it's like for her dealing with that, it's no one wants to, like, I mean, yeah, it's so yeah, it just like, wow. It's definitely going for that feeling of what people go through and the stories that go along with that. Because for her, it felt like she's not getting the help she needs. She's not getting like the empathy that for her, yeah, it is hard.
Yeah, like,
and for
she's
people
been blamed for
for people saying that
for
she's
trying
the
to keep
problem.
up, and it's like,
yeah,
in a way, yeah, she is to blame, but not in a way of, like, the way that they were doing it is like they were kicking her and she was already down.
Okay.
It's not like, okay, like, come on, we're gonna support you, like,
right.
talk. Because the thing is that those adult figures, and that was one of the things that I would like to point out in the movie.
Yeah,
is that the movie itself has a bunch of holes that makes no sense, and one of the things, and probably it's in a way it's kind of real, that the adults were not supportive enough. Because they were, even the adults were like, yeah, something's wrong with her. She's like, she is to blame. She almost traumatized those bullies by trying to kill herself, but they never thought, like, well, why did she try to jump out of the roof
in the first
when those guys were there? Like, what were those guys doing there?
Yeah.
For that to happen, it's like there were a bunch of holes. One more hole that I want to cover when we talk about Ayane.
Oh yes,
because I thought that was really stupid, but
Oh, okay, okay, yeah,
at least for Oi, yeah, it's like
yeah,
she's made not like the victim, but the reason of why people around her uh, are mean to her is because she kind of like asked for it, and it's like
ah,
that's so messed up.
oh yes, yes, yeah, yeah. That is because yeah, interesting. Yeah, that is that. Yeah, that. Yeah, that is definitely messed up for her. Dang, she's so weak.
Okay. The next
Yeah,
one. Do you want to talk about Tomoya now?
ooh, ooh, sure, sure, sure. Yeah, yeah.
All right. Tomoya,
Mhm.
he doesn't has it as hard as Aoi. Well, kind of
Mhm.
like if you were to put them into a balance, Tomoya's life is not that hard. The only thing is that Tomoya, he really likes, art,
Right,
painting, drawing.
right. Mhm.
But it seems like he comes from a very conservative family and
Yeah,
very like controlling
and yes.
household.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the thing is with him is that he performs really well in school, and the the pressure is that yeah, the expectation is for him to excel in university and continue with that. And so the teacher is like, "Oh, you'll go far with that." But Tomoya is like looking off to the side, and his mom, yeah, she is like, oh, well, the only thing is that he doesn't perform well in literature, in literature classes. So he kind of isn't doing really well in there, at least. So I think that might actually be part of the thing. So his mom is like, so yeah, I may have misspoke with like him doing well in school. So he's
Well,
not doing
he
well,
overall he's
but
doing really good.
right overall, and yeah, and so actually, yeah, yeah. So
But it seems
he has a
like
weakness with literature,
yeah, he
and
has a weakness. But the thing is
yeah,
like the conservative household where he
yeah,
comes from is like, oh yeah, you're great like math,
right,
science,
right, and
all the stuff is like so normally I think it's a normal
yeah, at least like the
mindset kind of like
expectation
oh yeah
is
he's gonna be a great doctor great
exactly,
scientific engineer
exactly, yeah,
and not like oh yeah he's great in math he's gonna do great with music or
right,
like
and
he's great in science he could be a great painter
right, right. No
I
one
think
says, yeah, no one like the expectation for the mother is that he will go to university and kind of not be distracted by the hobby or like art, I guess, because I guess his mom does know about that. Uh, so he's in cram school currently, even in the summer. Um, so yeah, the mom is like going through like all the different things with him with Tomoya, and is like, hey, is like you gotta step it up to do this to go to university. So he feels constrained with that situation. Uh, and so with that, for him specifically, he is contemplating death
yeah
and suicide.
he,
To sum it up,
yeah
he feels
he
that's the way out from this pressure,
right
or at least he's thinking about it, because he's not like. So with I also picked up from him was that he's not really like driven. He's not really like really decisive, I would say. His personality is more of that like going with the flow almost. But of course, he does want to paint. He does want to do art and stuff. But he feels, as INA points out, he feels dead inside.
yeah No, I mean that's exactly right. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh crap! Like, at least for him,
Yeah.
I thought like, okay, if you're contemplating that, it's like you should really set your priorities straight, because that's something that you can change yourself. Well, with Aoi case, it's like, yeah, she can
Yeah.
also change by herself, but
Ooh,
that's
right.
a bit harder.
Yes, yeah.
That's involved many other people, and well, I
Yeah.
guess for Tomoya also involved
It does
her
involve
mother, and
his mother,
a
yeah.
lot of
That's
times
right.
you have this respect for your parents and
Yeah.
kind of like do what they tell you because
Yeah.
they know better.
Right. And
Up
so
to
it
some
is.
point,
Oh, sure.
but it is not
Yeah.
until you grow up that you learn to differentiate where that point is.
Right.
Right? 'Cause,
Right. And
like,
where does your life?
yeah, because like, these are high schoolers. These ones
Yeah.
are kids.
Yes. Yeah. That's right. We gotta remember that they are still in high school.
And so, as an almost 28-year-old guy,
Right. We are kind of, to be
like,
honest, yes, we are kind of removed from that. But
like,
of
not
course,
saying we have our life together, but
right. We still struggle, and
but we have a
it's
better kind of like view of
yeah.
how things happen. Because right now, looking back, I'm like, oh well, yeah, I did a lot of stupid things when I was in high school, and I thought I was a grown up already.
Right.
And I'm thinking back, it's
yeah.
like, I was such an idiot.
Yeah.
And right
back
now
in
I'm
high
thinking
school,
like, well, I'm still an idiot, but at least I'm aware of it. So
oh, sure. Yeah. Back in high school, I thought, like, I'm almost an adult. I feel like an adult, and so like, I should have, like, I don't know, control over my life. But maybe looking back, maybe I didn't, and maybe that's okay.
yeah, so for these kids, it's the same.
Yes, exactly. And so, Rio. Well, for him, with that first flashback for him, we see that he has a condition, or that he is sick. They don't really define or describe what it is. All we see are the X-rays of his skull, basically. So we might be able to guess,
Right.
and infer for him. He is given a life expectancy of less than a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very short.
Yeah, he has a terminal illness. He's already branded.
Yes.
And the thing with him is like,
less than a year.
Everything is great, but you have a time limit, and that's what makes him kind of like go under. And honestly, I don't know what else to report, because like I haven't been in that situation, and I hope I'm never in that situation.
Right. Yeah.
Because
for him, it crept up on him.
Yeah.
Like it was sudden, or at least his life was going well.
Yeah.
Like it
seemed like he was popular. Like he was really good at sports.
Yep. He was in the basketball team, and like, we don't really know much about his family. We kind of assume that his parents are around.
I think that
we don't even know that, though.
That's definitely more of like him giving up in life. Because he has a time limit.
Exactly.
And instead of kind of like trying to enjoy his last moments, he's just like mopping around the past and what could have been if the illness were not there.
Yes. The loss, or at least the sudden loss, or even like, I don't know, I'm ripping kind of like his life and ripping out that promise of something to live for, to look forwards to. So he quits the basketball club, and he's of course looking into what it would be like after death, basically. So I was interested in what they kind of asked Ayane, what like what death is like, or like or what to expect, or something like that. For him, he didn't actually ask her. Now that I think about it, he kind of more like real. He after seeing her, he was more like contemplative, I would say. Because the other two, Tomoya was like, how do you perceive death? But then, of course, we know that he comes back trying to figure out, like, what is it like for her and what is it like. He was more interested in that, uh, contemplating
Yeah, he. Now that you mention
suicide.
it, but it's something funny because
Yeah.
something at the end of the movie
Yes.
gives
Yes.
you a lot of hints
Mhm.
because he wanted to leave it, and I think we can now move to Ayana now
Yes. Yeah.
and have him like at the end,
Mhm.
because Ayane, she was this girl throughout the movie. She
Yes.
was good, but something happened, an argument with with her mom. Then something bad happened, and these are where the real spoiler. Like I think we've
Yes.
talked a lot of spoilers, but like
Yeah.
this is like one of the main ones
Hmm.
because the legend says she committed suicide
Hmm.
because for now the whole movie has just revolved around suicidal thoughts, suicide.
Yeah.
But now then it just makes a twist of
Yeah.
like she didn't kill herself.
Yep.
She was running
Yep.
and she got hit by a car
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and the guy or whomever like
Right. Whoever was.
ran
Yep.
into her, just like put her inside a suitcase
Yep.
and drop her like
Buried her in
yeah
a
alive
junkyard.
alive.
Yes,
And I was
and
like,
that's the
what the
thing.
heck is that? And that's one of the holes that I want to talk about because it's
Okay.
like where the heck is the police? Because
Okay.
at this
Yeah.
point the mom is waiting for her daughter for 3 years.
Right. To come home,
But it's like,
basically.
where the heck is the police? It's like, they
Okay.
never
Okay.
mention anything about a police report,
Right. No missing persons.
no missing
I have
persons
no
whatsoever.
idea.
And
That is.
even when they
And
find
so,
her, they
yes.
just dropped her necklace into the door. And it's like,
Okay. Okay.
why don't you freaking call the police? I mean, kind of like a
Okay.
good closure, you know? Because, like,
Right.
yeah, the mom is
Right.
going to be devastated
Yes.
because after 3 years, they were like, oh, yeah, your daughter's, well,
Right.
3 years.
Right.
So it's like,
So
yeah, that's gonna be terrible. But it's like,
yeah.
where the heck is the police?
Yeah.
They're
That
like,
that is an odd thing that you mentioned
why
now.
didn't these kids call the police? They're just like, oh
Hmm.
yeah, I'm just gonna grab the necklace from this corpse that's
Right.
been decomposing for 3 years.
3 years. Right. Right.
And it's like,
And then and not like
yeah,
tied
I know that's probably
loose
not the
ends.
point of the
Well,
anime, but
okay, okay. Well, all right, but yeah, the movie doesn't show any of that at all. Any police reports or any like searches. The kids just find the suitcase and the body, and then yeah, return the necklace. And I have no idea. It kind of glosses over all of that. So I'm not sure.
you kind of ignored it,
So
and
it
you're like,
is.
oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
like that was a really emotional part for all the characters.
Right.
Because Toya, while that was happening, he was battling between either just like call it a day, literally,
Right. Well,
or like just
right.
continue with life and struggle and you know.
Yeah. So yeah, we don't see what happens because yeah, it should. Yeah, I'm not sure why they did that. That's odd.
Right.
Other than that, keeping it within that high school experience and that more emotional impact.
Yeah.
So if that was shown with like the police or at least like, because in that case it does need to be brought to that type of legal attention.
Yeah,
In that
there would
case,
have been some
things
sort of
would,
like
yeah, it would
investigation
have
for the
been there.
kids and
Exactly, an
they're like
investigation, some sort of report, some sort of closure for the mother, of course, but it isn't shown in that regard. Um, and also, that brings up another point, is that the four kids, well, the three in the beginning and the ghost, and actually, we might have to talk about that also with the three and the ghost, because there's another one. So the cast is just those four,
yeah,
with the
pretty
voice
much,
acting.
pretty
Yeah,
much.
the mother doesn't have a voice actress, has no lines, but yeah, it is kind of like just. Actually, the mother of Tomoya
Yeah, the mother
does
of
have
Tomoya
lines,
and
and the
one of the
teacher
teachers and one of
okay.
the students, but
So I do take
they're not
that
really.
back, but they aren't really in like the story.
They have
Probably,
like
would you
what,
say?
5 seconds or so.
Yeah, yeah,
Less.
exactly, yeah,
So like the important ones are the four kids.
exactly, yeah, yeah. That's odd. So Summer Ghost is literally just their experience, and none of that is shown.
Yeah,
With that type of. Okay, interesting. So it could have been, the whole atmosphere and vibe of the story could have been way different if that was shown.
yeah, because then it would have probably been more than 40 minutes.
Yes.
It would have probably
Yes.
revolved around close to 2 hours, maybe.
Yeah.
Just to fix everything
Even
and like
yeah,
for the
even
plot
to show.
to make sense with all of that. So
Sure.
yeah, in a way, I know that they skip that part
Yeah.
just for the sake of the plot.
Sure. And maybe there were things that happened,
Or
but
maybe it happened, but they didn't show it because that wasn't the point
maybe.
of the anime. Because the point of the anime at the end of the day was like, don't kill yourself.
Right.
Right. As simple as that.
It is that simple.
It doesn't matter how bad it gets. Like,
well,
it won't get as bad as being in this emptiness because they pretty much show that there was emptiness.
Yeah, Tomoya especially had to learn what it was like for INA. So for him specifically, he spent the most time with her, the Summer Ghost. He spent the most time with her, kind of. Oh, and that was another thing. The three of them spent a lot of time with out-of-body experiences.
Yeah.
INA would somehow kind of like reach into them and grab their soul or something. And so their bodies would be left on the landing strip. And then it was so cool. The first time, it was like that they ran along the landing strip. Well, not ran. They kind of flew along the landing strip and then like took off into the air. That was so cool. And then she dropped him. He fell, not knowing how to do it, into the ground.
To the ground.
Was like water.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was so cool. So it was kind of like, and also there was a shot that looked like, so there was this one specific part, this one, where they were talking about death and how talking about the difference. Oh, and this is why I was bringing this up, because in the ground, it looked like water. And then in reality, or like the top of the world, it looked like that. And there was a division in between them. There may be something shown here. But with that division, it's like showing how INA and Tomoya differ. No matter what Tomoya was like experiencing with his body, it's like still different.
Yeah.
And like between that spiritual world and that in the physical world, I guess, or like
Yeah.
the living world, I guess you could say, like the,
You could say it like that.
yeah. Okay. When they were like nearing the end of their like time together, basically, she was like, yeah, I don't want to, with all this like time that we spent together, I don't want you to think that death is not all that bad.
Oh,
And that was the line that really stood out to me because it's like, yeah, he's experiencing this out of body experience away from his body, but it's like she is living that having already died. And so for her, it's in the past, for him, it's in the future. And so, yeah, I just thought that was like really, really cool because so he had to come to grips with that specifically, that for him is like, it's still a decision, but for her, it's like not.
yeah.
And so, yeah, I thought that was really, really, really impactful because for him, that was his, that's what he had to learn. And of course, he kind of like grew up out of that. For Aoi, we see her use the umbrella when she got splashed. So, and then she kind of stood up for herself. That's what kind of like she kind of got out of this experience, I would say. Of course, life isn't great, but kind of like her dealing with that is kind of like her way of like learning from the summer ghost experience.
Right.
And
Because Tomoya,
Mhm.
it seems that he had his mother's support as long as he did
yeah,
what she wanted. So it's like, okay, I
yes,
want to do something else, so
yeah,
I'm gonna live by myself. And
right.
and he's like,
That's
oh
what
yeah,
he had
and
to
like,
do.
and
Yeah,
I'm struggling, but I'm doing what I wanted.
yeah,
Because he's like, yeah, I'm living by myself. It's hard, and then the other guy's like, that's good. But then he's
right.
like, you see them
Oh,
with the fireworks, and he's
yes.
like, no,
Yes, and that's the huge mind twist.
because then you
Rio.
see Rio that
Yep.
he had regrets, because
Right.
it seems that for the ghosts to be there, they had to have regrets. And,
Yeah.
and for what was the name of the girl?
Ayane?
For Ayane was
Yeah.
that she couldn't find her body.
Yeah, and so that was her regret because the mother has to deal with never knowing what happened. But yeah, her regret, she can't search and find for her body. So that's why she got their help to find her body. But Ryo,
Yeah.
he could not well, I mean, yeah, so you realize he is a ghost in this following summer because with that flashback, he was already on his deathbed in spring. And so he was ghost that they were kind of like seancing with almost on the landing strip this last time. And so yeah, he talked with the other two and came to grips with that, yeah, life may be full of regrets, but then as long as you kind of look forward to something, then the fear isn't as bad.